So in the last video, I discussed my feelings about meditation, how I don't really think it can take us anywhere except to calm us down a little bit. So for me, I'd been searching all my life. I never really got any real answers or made much advancement until I was at a pretty low point, and somebody I barely knew gave me a gift, which I didn't even really open for a month later. It was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It was the CDs. And I took it and I threw it into my glove compartment. I never listened to it. And then one day I listened to it. I started with the first CD. And as soon as I started to listen to it, it started to stop the pain. I studied it for forever. I got a lot of help from it. And it started to open me up to the concept that there really is something else. So I was never able to get any closer to that state of mind. Again, it leads you over to meditation and things like that, which never really worked for me. So I guess I always had a feeling that there was something more, something else. And it would occur to me in tiny little fragments, milliseconds. I would have the sensation, really, not even a whole feeling, but just a sensation that there was some underlying person or thing or place other than what I was experiencing. So, it can be in the most ridiculous places. You can be in the restroom, sitting there, and a lot of great thinking happens there. But and I had the sensation that there was something else. And just like Eckhart Tolle says, there's another me. There can't be two me's. There can only be one me. So which one is the real one? I didn't go that deep into it. I just had the sensation that there was more, that there was more to this than what I was experiencing. So for many, many years, I just kept studying and trying to find information. And, I never really found anything. Serendipitous events would occur, and I would meet people and ask questions. And, I would read books and things. One time I was walking along the beach and I saw a fragment of paper on the sand, and I picked it up, and it said, you have just discovered the answer to all your questions about life. And that was it. And it had a tiny bit at the bottom, but it was torn from a book called Cosmic Consciousness, in which I tracked down. And back then you couldn't just look it up, on Google. You had to go to like a bookstore and try to find these obscure books. And so many years later, maybe 10 years later, when Amazon came out and things like that, I was able to find the book, and I got the book and read it. And as books do, they turn you on, they reference other writers and other ideas, and they keep going, and you just keep going and going. Then I met a woman who was into lucid dreaming. I had never really had any lucid dreams that I could remember. I had a couple of dreams where I felt like I might be flying. I wasn't really sure, but I never pursued that. And she was very into Thomas Campbell and My Big Toe, and so I read that, and together we would listen to the Gateway Voyage tapes and Hemisync recordings, and we would study that together. Nothing really happened until one night I was listening to the Hemisync recordings, and I just sort of ripped off my headphones and said, this shit doesn't work. I just kind of said, I'm giving up. And, I went to sleep that night, and I had my first lucid dream, truly lucid, where I was aware. And so what it was a dream where I was flying above an auditorium of people, and I'm looking down at them and feel myself sinking, and then I sort of move my arms thinking that's going to make me go up a little bit, and it did a little bit, and then I start to fall down again and things like that. And so I woke up, and that was about it. And I quickly jotted it down so I could try to remember it. Then I started to study tricks about how to get into lucid dreaming, or how to recognize once you're in there. So the trick about look at the hand. You look at your hand during the day, and of course it looks like a hand. And then if you're in your dream and you remember the phrase, look at the hand, you look at your hand one time and it's your hand. And then you look at it a second time and it's something very different, like a book, or a lobster claw, or hopefully it's not something that scary. But once you realize that something's not quite right, you know, and you say to yourself, I must be dreaming. I must be in a lucid dream. So once you know you're in the lucid dream, well, then you can try to guide it. You can't really do everything because you're basically, or I was, still pretty afraid that you're in this alternate state. So I played with that for a while. The only problem was I couldn't make it happen when I wanted it to happen, no matter how I practiced. And so then I realized, there was something in between here and there. And is it just some ideas that I'm coming up with? Is it my imagination from the thoughts of the day? And then I started to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. I started to really study Nisargadatta and the truths about reality, and the fact that thoughts can only take you so far. In other words, you're really aiming for a realm that is beyond thought. So this could be a big problem, because if you can't think about it, how are you going to get there? So how you get there is going to be in another video, but it's a very real thing. And yes, thoughts are busy work. It's busy work, and just like they're the ideas that aliens are real and all that kind of stuff. I really can't get with that. It's really just pretty pictures for the eye. And the more you define a thing and you give it a name and you give it a label and you just start to describe it, you've actually co-created that thing. So Abraham is another great resource. And so there's a lot to discuss, but that's a good start. And yeah, keep watching, because I'm going to explain a lot more about what's going on and how to get there.